All right, Ripple has their banking license. Let's go. What a incredible week it's been. Yesterday, we got the DTC news, right? The DTC subsidiary of the DTCC about tokenizing value. And now we get the Ripple banking license news information. And so I dug into this today. I wanted to better understand what happens now because they have a preliminary license and they have to basically set up the bank. And so I spent some time this morning understanding all of that. And I'm going to go through that with you guys here and answer some of your questions. Plus, we're going to get into a few other things here that I think are important that you should know what's happening in the crypto space. But wow, there's so much going on. It is an exciting time to be in the crypto market. And I am thankful to be on this journey with each and every one of you. All right, listen, we got Harry here checking in first. Why does the US economy have such a big impact on crypto when crypto is a global form of money? Well, the US economy is the biggest economy in the world, okay? And when retail, average people, are financially affected, they don't have as much money to invest into the stock market or the crypto market. You know, you have less money. If prices are higher on things, which they have been due to tariffs and inflation, when things are higher, people buy less of those things. When people buy less of those things, those companies make less of those things, and then it kind of has like a full circle effect. Less people are working, more people are unemployed, less money is going into, risk assets or whatever you want to classify crypto as. But that's pretty much what we're dealing with. Nicole's like largest economy in the world. Hello. Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate you. We got Ryan checking in here. What's up, Bar? When Lambo? When Ferrari? I don't know, like when Aston Martin. I'm tired of the when Lambo stuff, but all good, all good. Peter O'Neill's here. What's up, Peter? Great to see you, man. Loving the vibe and the emojis. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Let's go. Let's change the world for the better with all the wealth we build. Hey, I think that is extremely well said. Hold on. I'm about to kick over my camera. Give me 1 second here. I try to clear the camera leg under the desk when I stream because I move a lot and I don't want it to fall on Luna. I appreciate you. Yes, you know, I think now that people have more wealth or going to have more wealth, we all need to kind of better understand what we can do, you know, in our communities and maybe what we can do to help people around the world. I think that's going to be vitally important. So glad you brought that up. Hype, hype, hype. Then boom. All right, we got Jordan here checking in. Sveta's here. Great to see you, Sveta. Matthias is here. The Riddler. Ooh. K-Dot. What's up, K-Dot? Jerry AC. Good evening from Germany. What's up, Jerry? Let's see here. Joseph. It didn't take long to get a Jay Claver comment. Let's see what this is about. Love your show, Jay Claver. By the end of this year, hopium aside, can you make a detailed and understandable case why XRP could hit $1,000 in the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, I guess if that's really what you need, I'd imagine you probably should educate yourself more on the transformation that you're seeing in the entire world moving to blockchain. You know, if you understood that better, I don't think you would ask a question like this, but let's just unpack this. All right. I'm going to lower this while we talk about it. So somebody's asking here why XRP can go to a high price in the next 5 to 10 years. Okay. There's multiple avenues that we could look at, but let's just talk about adoption. All right. Right now, all around the world, every government is trying to understand how they can take full advantage of blockchain. Okay. Now, when governments compete against each other, it's not just with wars and with who has the most of this and most of that, but it's also a technology, right? And if a country has the ability to move value instantaneously for pretty much no cost, that is an extremely big benefit, right? And think about the financial services and the trillions of dollars that get moved around a day. If you can start saving 60, 70, 80, 90% on moving that money, that is going to give you more money to spend on other things in your economy, right? So you have Simon McLaughlin said, you know, I showed this yesterday. He said in 3 to 5 years, actually, do I have that somewhere? He said in 3 to 5 years, every company, every government and company will be connected with blockchain, which means every single person on the planet that has a bank account or a Venmo or a PayPal or whatever money service that you use that will also be connected. So you have this entire world now waking up to the understanding that crypto is going to be the future. Everyone is trying to rush to regulate it and set up a perimeter where they can have innovators come and build in their country. The reason they want to do that is because they can collect taxes, they can create jobs, and this really is the next future. Okay. So you're going to have hundreds of millions, if not billions of new people entering the space over the next 5 to 10 years. Okay. There's only so much crypto left, right? We can't create more of it, right? We can create other projects and things like that. But when it comes to XRP, Bitcoin, a few other assets, there's a fixed supply. And what's available right now is what is available. And until somebody sells, that's only when you'll get more. Okay. So if the ETFs, these financial products that we didn't have before in the XRP space here in America, now all of this institutional pent up demand can go in and get access to XRP, spot XRP, which we didn't have before. Okay. So that could bring in tens of billions of dollars, eventually hundreds of billions of dollars over the next 5 to 10 years. Okay. You gotta compact all of the retail buying, all of the institutional buying already on something that is having multi-year lows in supply on OTC desks, dark pools, and on exchanges. Okay. You're giving this transformation as XRP as a bridge asset. All of these companies are looking to use stable coins. They're looking to be able to move FX instantaneously, save that 3 to 6 or 7% that they're being charged right now to move their money. You got to think about it. If you are a corporation and you have businesses, business all over the world, you're paying in different currencies, right? You might be in the US, but you might be in Japan, in the UK, and the EU, wherever you are. And so you constantly need to swap into different currencies to pay vendors in those countries because they're probably not going to take US dollars, right? They probably want what their specific currency is. Now you would have to pre-fund those accounts, which means you have to line up that money days earlier to even get it there in time. And you don't even know what you're going to be paying on the FX swaps because they tell you that later sometimes. Okay. Now this new system comes in where you can get a quote before the money gets sent out, how much this is going to cost you. That cost is going to be 60 to 90% less than what you were paying. And that money can move instantaneously and use XRP as a bridge in between any other currency. Okay. You don't have to pre-fund accounts anymore. Now you can start earning yield on that money that was in Nostro Vostro accounts. So you're earning even on top of what you're saving. So those things together, that's a pretty big deal. Now you throw in the EVM sidechain, right? Axelar, 55 different blockchains connected. You throw in the institutional layer with RLUSD. Now with Ripple getting their banking license, they are going to be the highest regulated stablecoin in the world, in the United States. When you are a financial institution, that really means something. Okay, so you're going to see more adoption through RLUSD, hopefully on the XRP ledger. It's on both on Ethereum and the XRP ledger. 90% of it is on Ethereum though. So we want to specifically talk about the XRP side because stablecoin transactions on the XRP side still need XRP. You throw all of those things on together and you have a situation that I don't think people really quite understand. If you just eat through a few more billion XRP and there's no supply on the exchange that goes less than a billion, less than 500 million, you're going to see dramatic impact on a market cap multiplier, right? So if you bring in $5-10 billion and you have a 200-300x multiplier, that can get pretty quick, pretty insane pretty quickly. Now you throw on what the SEC is doing, right? The SEC has cleared guidance. Let me show you this. Let me show you this. If you hadn't seen... Where is it? Let me just pull this up. Hold on. This is not what I want to show you though. Let me show you this. All right. Okay. This is the SEC director. Okay. He's in charge of the security market here in the United States. As I told Maria Bartiromo last week, the US financial markets are poised to move on chain. Under my leadership, SEC Gov is prioritizing innovation and embracing new technologies to enable this on-chain future while continuing to protect investors. Today, the Division of Trading and Markets issued a no-action letter to the Depository Trust Company, the DTC, regarding the DTC's voluntary securities tokenization pilot program. DTC's initiative marks an important step towards on-chain capital markets. On-chain markets will bring greater predictability, transparency, and efficiency for investors. DTC's participants now will be allowed to transfer tokenized securities directly to the registered wallets of their participants, which will be tracked by the DTC's official records. I'm excited to see the full benefits of this program to our financial markets and continue to encourage market participants to innovate as we move on-chain to on-chain settlement. So now you have the SEC director telling you that the future of markets is on-chain. And that is what their goal, and that's what they're working towards. So you have $2 quadrillion coming on chain over the next 5 to 10 years. You know, there's only so many assets that are regulated to be used in this new system. XRP, RLUSD, Ripple. That's a pretty serious combination. You know, I don't know what the price is going to be. I don't think anybody really knows what it can be, but I think it's going to be a whole lot more than $2, right? I am betting, because the time and that I've taken to understand this transformation the world's about to go through, I am putting my faith into that research, into that knowledge. And, you know, I mean, there's a bunch of other things we could talk about too, but I think you kind of get the gist, right? You could talk about debt. Debt markets are 300 trillion. That's coming on chain. You can talk about real estate, 500 trillion, 500 trillion, tokenizing buildings, apartment complexes. You can tokenize any sports team or any IP. I mean, it's limitless what you can tokenize. And I'd imagine in the next 5 to 10 years, there's going to be things that we haven't even thought of yet that are going to become products. And this value is going to live on public blockchains. Now, private blockchains will still be used, but you're going to need the liquidity on those public blockchains to make all of this work. And that's where the price could get kind of out of hand. All right. All right, I know that was a big way to start it off. If Jake is right, your views will decline, brother. I don't care. If he's right about what? Like, let's be very clear here. Jake has told the community all kinds of stuff for views, right? That's what he does. He tells you what you want to hear, so you show up and you listen to him. Okay, it is December 12th. Right? I think we have, I don't even know, is it 3 or 4 predictions by the end of the year? One's 100, one's 750. And I think I saw 1,000 in there somewhere. Right? And then we have his January prediction where it's going to be 1,000 to 2,000. Like, I don't know what you want me to do with that. Right? Like, if you want to show up every day for facts that I can give you, that I can prove, I will give you that. But I'm not going to sit here and sell you a fantasy because I claim to be an insider, right? That I have this knowledge. If you really had the knowledge, you wouldn't have to throw out so many speculative bets. Eventually, someone that has 100 predictions is going to be right once or twice, right? So eventually he will be right. Is that going to happen now? I don't know, man. But hey, I appreciate you sharing that with me. I don't think my views are going to decline regardless of what happens. I think people know that I am pretty open and honest with my opinions about either specific people or the crypto market in general. You know, I don't have any ill will against Jake, but like, people talk about him like he's the next coming of whatever. And I just think, you know, it's getting a little strange there, right? I think people need to take a deep breath and realize that, you know, it's not like people are worshiping him and like, it's kind of getting weird. I don't know. Will we be able to back with Ripple checking and savings? No. Oh, bank. You're asking if you can bank with Ripple. No, you cannot. You cannot. Listen, I think people need to understand here too. Jake is looking for a certain type of clientele. Okay. When XRP starts to take off and his fund actually starts to make money for people and it starts to grow, you think he's going to be showing up twice a week to do chats with you guys? There's going to become a point where he's like, hey, I've done enough in this space. Now I'm going to move on and whatever his plans are, right? I'm still going to be here to bring you news and information because that's the most thing that I care about. I don't have a company that I'm trying to get people to invest in. I don't have a fund. I have no reason to be here other than me wanting to come help educate people because that's what I really care about, right? So, you know, we can say whatever we want, but I'm still going to be here for you guys, regardless of what happens. Up, down, sideways, we'll be bringing the vibes, the passion, the love, and support all the time, all right? And it is Christmas, so let's get the negativity out the chat. Glossy, appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Oh, we got Tracy here. No one can possibly know. This is all new. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. I think, like, to go on every podcast that you're invited onto and just tell people what they want to hear, I think, that's, so that's the road some people are going to take, and I if I wanted to wake up every day and just make videos about 10K XRP, you know, I don't know. It'd be getting kind of boring after a while, right? I care about, like, what are the things that I can see right now, physically touch and prove. That's all that matters to me in the moment. I know where this is going, right? I've said for the last 5 years, before Jake bought XRP, I was here. Okay. So before Jake was here, I was buying XRP and telling people what I thought about XRP. He found out, he came in 2022. So, go back and look at the older content, guys. Man, getting spicy in here already. Whew, burning. Being criticized for sensible research is crazy. I mean, I don't know if, like, he pays people to come here and just to, like, complain. I don't know what it is, but, like, we always find a way to go there pretty quickly. It just gets a little tiring, guys. Listen, like, people can disagree on something. Like, that is life. Before the internet, that was everyday life. And we've gotten to a place where if this person is right, this other person is wrong, and there's no middle ground, right? I think he genuinely cares about the space, but he also has a bunch of financial reasons to say what he's saying. And I think that's what people just need to be careful about. That's like all I'm trying to get across. And if you take that personally, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You need to lighten up, go outside, run around the park, be a kid again. I don't know. What's my prediction? I don't have prediction. I'm not the prediction guy. We have a lot of those in the XRP space. My plan is by 2030. I would imagine that XRP's price could reach 3 to 4 digits by 2030. Could it happen sooner? I don't know. You got to ask, like, the Jay Clavers of the world. Oh, I got my Etsy delivery. I ordered a bunch of XRP stuff on Etsy. Edo, what's up, dude? Great to see you, my man. Yeah, man. People get a little crazy on this stuff, but it's all good. It's all good. I mean, I think, like, people think I don't want the price to go up. Like, I'm sitting here making content every day, trying to understand the space for the price not to go up. I don't know. People are a little strange to me. Price manipulation, I think, with any market, you're going to get price manipulation, right? I think, like, if you really want to know personally what I think this, okay? Jake needs the price to go up. Jake needs the price to go up. His fund the last few months, negative. I think it's negative like 4 point something percent the last 3 months. Okay. So, and those types of things you need to look out on a longer scale, right? But he needs the price to go up. If XRP's price continues to kind of slide a bit for the next few months, he's gonna have some pushback. So he's gonna go out and say and do anything to get XRP's price up, right? Like, you need to look at the numbers from DWP and how much they are getting back to their customers right now. It's not like it's a hidden thing. I can show you if you really want to see it. Like, here. And then we're gonna put this to bed after this, okay? Because I can't spend 2 hours, going back and forth on this, because it is exhausting to me mentally to just spend time going through this information. Who sent me this? Who sent this to me? Oh, what is his name? Oh, yes, I remember. Zach. There it is. Oh, Twitter messaging is very, very slow. Hold on, I'm pulling this up right now. Okay, here you go. Okay. Oh wait, is this the right chat? No, it's not the right chat. Shit. Hold on. I need to pull it into this one. Here we go. Okay. Here you go. This is why he needs the price to go up. Okay. Here it is. Okay. October was one of the most volatile periods for this year for XRP. The asset swung between 230 and 305 and saw a sudden 41% intraday drop down, recovering. This kind of sharp movement naturally created challenges and strategies tied for long-term trends. While the fund did experience expected pressure during the pullback, the decline was notably smaller than the move in XRP itself, reflecting in our strategy, blah, blah, blah. Here is the actual numbers for August, September, and October, year to date, negative 4.65%. That is why he needs the price to go up. Okay. So let's leave it at that, please. Thank you. I do think you need to look at it on a longer scale, but over the first 3 months, not looking great, right? I don't know how funds are supposed to work. I don't have any money in funds, right? I'm not yet at that level, but I know negative is never a good sign. All right. Do you think that the reverse carry trade will benefit XRP? So one thing has nothing to do with the other. One thing has nothing to do with the other. Okay. Can XRP come into a situation that, you know, if they blow through every other option that they have set in place for this carry trade to unwind? Yes, XRP will be there. But because I think this is where people are also getting confused, right? Because they say, oh, the carry trade's unwinding, XRP is about to full send, right? One has nothing to do with the other. You can have the carry trade unwind and XRP not move at all. If Japan decides to launch their CBDC, bring in RLUSD, and try to work through some of that with XRP for liquidity and FX and swaps, that would be very helpful. But one thing doesn't have to do with the other. All right. Vishal, thank you for the question. Let's see here. So Octopus says, my issue is people don't debate him on his ideas. That's exactly right, man. Thank you. They just talk to him about the lawsuit or how he's a pretender. And he's, damn. Okay. Well, maybe I shouldn't have clicked on that one. Okay. My bad. Oh, it's okay. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Listen, guys, like, you know, we all have our favorites, right? And some of you are, you know, this channel is your favorite. And some of you, Jake's channel is your favorite. And that's okay. You know, he still provides a lot of value, but like, we just need to just chill a bit and understand that all of these people, just regular people, right? People make mistakes. People say things that maybe they wish they could have walked back. But when you're being interviewed on a stream or a view and like, you know, that there's a lot of people watching, like sometimes you just kind of say what you want to, like what people want to hear. And I don't know if that's entirely helpful. All right. All right. Let's get into some other news here. Now that we're done looking at all of the gains for his thing. Okay. So Brad Garlinghouse did chime in here this morning. And he said, huge news, Ripple just received conditional approval from the OCC to charter Ripple National Trust Bank. Massive step toward the first for RLUSD, setting up the highest standard for stablecoin compliance in both federal and state. Remember, Ripple did wait for the New York Department of Financial Services to approve RLUSD to move forward because they knew eventually they would be in this specific position where they wanted NYDFS on their side. Now they have been working with them for some time, so that it is going to help them move this forward a little bit more quickly. The banking lobbyists, your anti-competitive tactics are transparent. You've complained that crypto isn't playing by the same rules, but here's the crypto industry directly under the OCC supervision and standards, prioritizing compliance, trust, and innovation to benefit consumers. What are you afraid of? That's pretty bold, man. I like it. I really do. Is Edo still in the chat? Jake is a fun topic. He's listen, guys, like we're all trying to get to the same place here, you know, and we don't have to like step on each other and like throw shade at each other to get there, right? But like, you know, I just wish some people would take different approaches. And, you know, my approach has changed over time too, you know, and how I deliver information. And I mean, I think that's like anybody's life that you're trying to evolve for the better and you're trying to maybe change some things that other people maybe not quite like about you, right? And that's life. That's getting through all of this craziness that you have to deal with every day and just trying to put your best foot forward. And the XRP community, you know, by far is the most educated, the most loyal, you know, and like I don't think I would want to be anywhere else in the crypto industry than this community. I mean, it really is, you know, I mean, all of you are pretty special people to see something that is on the horizon that is going to change the financial system and to make that leap and that belief in yourself that you have done this research to understand this transformation, how you can take advantage of that. You know, 99% of the population hasn't taken that step yet. You know, so there's something differently about how you think compared to everybody else around you. Unless everybody else around you owns crypto, and then that's your people, you know, go have fun. All right, there's so many comments, man. We have about 1,160 people watching. If you guys here on, we have about 476 on X, and we have about 695 here on YouTube. If you can like the stream on YouTube, I'd really appreciate it. If you're on X, if you could share the stream, I would really, really appreciate you too. Let's see here. Red Productions, great to see you, man. Can XRP skyrocket someday without Bitcoin doing up? So you're talking about the separation between, you know, Bitcoin dominance and kind of Bitcoin goes up, the rest of the market goes up, right? I think we are inching closer to that not being a thing, right? Because right now, the whole market's still built on speculation, right? We're speculating, is the market going to go up? Is the market going to go down? Once we get to a point of utility, that speculation part, you'll still have it, but it won't be so big in the market. And I think Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and some of these other assets are really going to, people are going to be like, you know, like they're going to be shocked at some of these and how quickly they're able to move, right? And yeah, I do think it's going to start operating differently. If you ask me when, I couldn't tell you, man. Let's see here. We got a member of the channel, John Curcio, 8011. Thank you for your focus and attention to XRP, XRPL, and Ripple. Thanks for what you do. Thank you for bringing these issues, concerns, and potential for crypto. Everyone should watch your show regularly. I appreciate you, John. Thank you so much, man. That was really nice of you to say. My mom did have a nice birthday. She was shocked. She was actually trying to reply to like all the comments. I think she got like 600 comments from you guys. And she called me. She's like, no way. This is so cool. She's saying how people were from different countries. And, you know, I don't think she spends too much time on YouTube. So she was really blown away to see that level of support for her. So I really appreciate you doing that. Thank you. My mom's going to be here. Actually, she's going to visit me in Hawaii in about 11 days from now. It's the first time ever. So, you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing her and just spending some time with her. The aloha spirit. I love that. I love that. What else we got? Yeah, I like it would be incredible to go through a stream without seeing the 4-letter name. That'd be really great. Good news for XRP Army. When do we expect the XRP products will come for users? I think you're talking about different companies building in the XRP space for the retail customer. Is that kind of what you're talking about, Saul? I think, you know, you need regulation before you start to see products here in the United States that are going to be super, you know, crypto, stablecoin, whatever backed, tokenized products. You know, that's why they're saying, that is why the DTC and the SEC are talking about Q2 of next year, because they still need regulation to pass, right? That's going to be an important step. So I'd imagine you'll start to see some products next year and even more the year after and the year after. Yeah. Here, let me show you some stuff, guys. Let me show you some stuff, okay? Like I wanted to take a look at once. So this is what we're going to look at here. Now that Ripple has this preliminary license, how long before they actually can set up the bank and get that going, right? Full steam ahead. What needs to happen? I actually break all of this down. So let's get into it. All right. So let me zoom in for everybody. You know, my eyes are starting to strain too. So we're going to get a little close here. So here are the steps that Ripple has to go through. Formally organize the bank entity, an organization. File and execute the organization certificate and related formation documents with the OCC and applicable corporate authorities. Use Ripple National Trust Bank and organization on all documents until opening. Step 2 would be finalize capital and ownership structure. Raise the fully fund the minimum capital the OCC required in the approval letter, paid in capital surplus, and any required capital commitments from Ripple Labs or its holding company. Document any capital maintenance agreements that commit Ripple to support the bank on an ongoing basis. Assemble the approved board and management team. Seat the full board of directors, including independent directors, and ensure any biography or fitness issues are cleared with the OCC. Hire key executives, CEO of the bank, CRO, CCO, CFO, Chief Trust Officer, BSA, AML Officer, etc., and submit resumes and background checks are required. So the reason this is important, when you work at a bank, you have a certain level of due diligence that bank needs to do on all of its employees, right? I know that because I have someone close to me that works at a bank, and I know what she went through to work there, and she's not a CEO. So everyone has a background check, right? You don't want the guy who's, you know, writing bad checks and doing some scandalous things on the outside to be working at the bank and having control over where money gets sent, right? That's what you don't want to do. So they just need to verify who these people are and what they're going to be doing, and that's part of the process. And then step 4 would be build out governance, risk, and compliance. Ripple must deliver and adopt detailed policies before it can request a pre-opening exam, including risk management, internal controls, and internal audit. BSA, AML, and sanctions OFAC program tailored to RLUSD custody and XRP related activity, information security and cybersecurity policies, fiduciary trust policies, account acceptance, conflicts of interest, and asset segregation, business continuity, and disaster recovery plans. Step 5 is to finalize the business plan and conduct set under trust bank limits. The OCC has conditioned approval of Ripple limiting operations to those of a trust company and activities related thereto, not becoming a bank under the Bank Holding Act. And so that means Ripple must nail down how RLUSD issuance, reserve management, and digital asset custody fit in with fiduciary and non-fiduciary trust activities. Show that any non-fiduciary services are incidental to the core trust fiduciary business. It says implement operational infrastructure and tech stack, standing up the core bank, the core banking, trust account systems, custody tech, ledger integrations, and control. You know, when I saw this, I'm like, do you think their G Treasury purchase will help them have some of these better systems? I mean, could you just imagine you go into your bank and like, you know, it kind of, you know, you like the people there, you say hi, but like they hold this and they do that. And like, imagine you just walking in and there's people from Ripple at the bank. Like, I don't know, that just seems really cool. I would do, you know, I would love to see in the future, like if you had 1,000 XRP or 5,000 XRP, whatever the amount is, like if you had the certain amount of XRP, that you could become a client for Ripple. I thought that would be really cool, but you know, maybe my dreams of having a Ripple bank account are a little thin right now. It says put vendor management on third-party risk programs in place, satisfy all specific OCC conditions in approval letter. The Ripple approval letter imposes binding enforcement conditions under 12 USC 1818, typically including business limited to trust company operations and related activities, prior OCC non-objection for any material business plan change for the first 3 years, regular process reporting and milestones during the organizational phase, and then possibly heightened reporting around stablecoin reserves, liquidity, and crypto asset risk from the Genius Act. And step 8 would be request and pass the OCC pre-opening examination. So this is also something that we're going to be looking out for Once the bank is built on paper and systems, Ripple requests a pre-opening exam. The OCC examines and tests governance, control, staffing, policy, systems, and readiness. Any matters requiring attention must be fixed before final approval. And then, of course, step 9 is to receive final charter approval and commence business. If Ripple passes the exam and all conditions are met, the OCC issues final approval. Charter is complete. Now, you're asking, Sensei, this sounds like a lot. How long does this take? Because I have no idea. Here is your answer: about 9 to 12 months. Ripple is not starting from zero. It already operates regulated entities, including NYDFS supervised trusts. So 9 to 12 month window to reach operational launch is plausible. Now, I don't know if it can happen sooner, but I'm just telling you that is the average that they've witnessed here with a company that's had some experience. All right. Let's see here. We got a $5 donation from Shaklam Fahid. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. And $10 donation here from Icon Height. Thank you, Icon. Oh, we got Christopher in the chat. Ariana's in the chat. Great to see you, Ariana. Aloha, my friend. What's going on, Bat Angel or Bat Anglia? I'm not gonna say it. I don't know. I mess up people's names. Hello, Sunshine. Great to see you. I hope you're doing well. Hello, Sunshine. Were you the person that was here yesterday and that said that your kid is, you know, watching videos and knows about XRP? I think that was that you? So I was thinking about this. I was like, that is probably one of the coolest kids in that school, you know? Oh my goodness. Hey, Sensei, Jazzabar, what's up? What's the one XRP development happening right now that you think will matter in 6 to 12 months? Well, the banking license and DTCC. I think the DTC getting that approval, you know, it really starts the clock on the rest of the world. And so, because you got to understand where we are right now. The US is competing against the EU, who's competing against the UK, who's competing against Japan, who's competing against Switzerland, who's competing against China, who's competing against, you know, all of these different markets are set up around the world. And at the same time, all of these markets are trying to move into this new tokenized digital future. And it all really needs to happen at the same time, because if you have one country too far ahead and these countries are not really caught up, you can't really use all of the technology that you want to use at scale, but you can use a lot of it. So with the US making this step, there are some countries that wait for the US to make moves. And there's also other countries that are far ahead of the United States. But all of this is coming to a head now in 26, and we should start to see something, I would think. Now, obviously, I don't have a crystal ball and I haven't been to the future. If I did, I probably would come back, play the lottery, win the lottery, and buy like 5 billion XRP. I don't know. That sounds pretty crazy, but that sounds like something we can achieve. But yeah, we'll have to see how that plays out. But I think, you know, the 4-year cycle idea feels like it's getting kind of crushed at this point. You know, we are moving into 26, and usually if you look at those cycles, 26 should be a down year. But with all the things that are happening currently, with midterm elections happening in the United States, and you know, Republicans and Trump wanting lower rates and to hand out stimulus and aid and things like that, people are going to have some extra money from that. And, you know, usually that money winds up in markets. So as the Fed is going to continue to print money, that's going to inject more liquidity into the system. And, you know, rates are probably going to come down next year, I would imagine. The Fed said that they probably will only do 1 cut next year. But realistically, if once Jerome Powell is out of the Fed, Trump will probably put Kevin Hassett, or unless somebody else comes in the mix in the next few months. But Kevin Hassett is probably going to be kind of a yes man for Trump and listen to what he says. And so I'd imagine Trump will want to bring rates down. That'll help people with credit card interest, buying a new home, buying a car, going just like all of these things will get a little cheaper because rates will be lower. But, you know, when we drop rates and we print money, you're going to have to deal with inflation on the tail end of that. And so 26 should be a really good year for markets, but there is going to probably be some adjustments happening. So just look out for that. That's kind of the macro picture for next year in my eyes. Oh, it was you. Okay, great. Yeah, I just thought that was really cool. I was talking to my wife about that last night. You know, she came home late. She had a company work party, and I was like, one of the people that watch my channel, their kid actually listens and watches, and I just didn't think, that's pretty cool. I'd imagine your kid's probably one of the smartest people in that school. Wherever your kid goes to school, I'd imagine it's a pretty cool kid. We gotta get you an XRP shirt or something like that, for Christmas. You pay her an XRP? Man, that's a smart kid. Sensei will come back and become a whale. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would. I don't know if we had some time machines, it would be pretty. It'd be pretty cool. I mean, it'd be scary, and we probably would change the future, right? You go back. What was that movie, like the Butterfly Effect, where you change one thing and it totally gets you a new future? Ryan, let's see here. Hey, Sensei, very much appreciate all you do for us on the craziness of crypto. Haha. Hey, appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you for the donation and the kind words, man. It's an honor. Like it's a lot of fun on my end because there's all of these people in my life that didn't used to be in crypto that now are in crypto, and so I get different phone calls along in the day and text messages from friends sharing content and videos and kind of like celebrating some of the news, and it's nice. It's really special. And I'm trying to find all the time I can to answer all of their questions, because when you introduce somebody to crypto and they come in, it's their first few weeks and everything is new. It's like you're staring at a wall of information and you just you're kind of overload, and so everyone comes with like all the same kind of questions, and it's fun though. Appreciate you, man. Let's see here. Marlon Wells, great to see you. Marlon says, will we be able to deposit XRP in regular banks once adoption is completed? Yes. Yeah, you will. So I would imagine that the bigger banks will probably have custody, right? Imagine you bank with us, you trust us, your mortgage is with us, your kids' school loans are with us, whatever it is, right? They're gonna say, why don't you keep your crypto here too? And that's really when you've reached like the mass adoption point, when banks start custodying crypto and they start doing that. And I believe they just got OCC approval to do just that, right? Do some of that. They're still going to wait for regulation though. But definitely. Luna listens to the lives. Luna, she's sleeping good right now. Hold on. You want to see a photo? Oh, she picked up her head. She knows that this is a camera. And so she's always like suspect. Yeah, she's sleeping good in her. She got a little fuzzy bed. I appreciate that. I could go between groups in high school. I wasn't like, but I was a little everywhere, You had friends in like the band and the gothic people and the sports people and just like the regular kids. I don't know. I don't miss school though, because being trapped in a classroom all day wasn't the best situation for me, got a lot of energy that needs to be let out, and sometimes that energy came out in bad ways. So but glad I made it to this position. Whatever I've done in my life, I'm just glad I made it here. Some of it was good, some of it was bad, some of it was hard, but I made it here, and that's all that matters. What's happening in January? I have some really exciting news to tell you guys in January. It's big and it's very cool. Everyone in this community will benefit from it. Whoa, Christopher. I'm liking to hear that, man. You should probably email me and tell me what it is so I don't have to wait till January. I want to be excited too. Yeah, Luna always listens. I'm sure you know that. Your Luna does too, huh, Tom? All right. So Reese Merrick, who I always have to look up what his job title is because I never remember. He is the Managing director of Middle East and Africa. I'll remember that one day. He says, at Ripple, compliance isn't a hurdle, it's the foundation. Our conditional OCC approval for Ripple National Trust Bank is definitive proof. By subjecting RLUSD to the highest level of federal supervision, we are prioritizing consumer trust and setting the unparalleled standard for stablecoin compliance. You know what I find interesting about this part? It does feel like they are positioning RLUSD as America's stablecoin. And when I say that, I mean America's institutional level stablecoin, because I don't think Circle quite has the same level of regulation now. I don't think Circle has become a bank yet, right? So this does kind of put Ripple in a different class, I would imagine. And you know, if you're a financial institution, you're only going to want to work with the highest regulated of standards. And I feel like something's there. You know, the US is not interested in a CBDC right now, but we do need a digital dollar. And if the federal government isn't prepared to move forward with that, maybe there's a private company that is now a bank. And you know, I think there's more to the story there. I'll be exploring that over the next few months. Let's see here. Sensei, you should visit Texas so I can make some good barbecue. Man, I'm going to take you up on that, Broderick. I'm going to take you up on that. I probably would come to Texas to the lodge. I want to play some poker in the lodge. You know, when I'm not doing my crypto research and I'm just kind of sitting there, I like watch a little poker, you know, some Texas Hold'em. And I'd imagine that'd be kind of fun, man. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, it does perk up. And listen, you know, the head tilt. I love the head tilt. I got my ears lowered. No, I just got a haircut. I got a haircut and my ears look differently when my hair is shorter. Got your ears lowered? Is that a thing? Do people get their ears lowered? Man, I know I got kind of big ears. My dad has big ears. You're like, whoa. Let's see here. We got Autumn Leaves. Thank you for all you do for the XRP community and taking your time during the holidays to chat with us. I want to encourage you, keep up your videos. I look forward every day to them. You're awesome. I appreciate you, Autumn. Thank you so much. I'm not going anywhere. Like, you would have to put me in the hospital for me to stop making content. It's so interesting, you know, and I'm going to be doing it anyways and sharing it with you. I've kind of, you know, like when something comes out, I'm getting my team ready. I'm like, guys, listen, we got to get this out as soon as possible. People need this information and news. And I finally have things positioned where I can make 3 to 4 videos a day. And I usually make 2 in the morning and then 2 in the, around 10, 11 o'clock Hawaii time, which is kind of the end of the day in East Coast. And so I can really capture all of the latest news that day or the next morning. And so, yeah, it's incredible. Thank you. It's a real honor to be on this journey with you. You know, I consider it a privilege, and let's go. Let's make some money. You know, we got someone here from Brisbane, Australia. Sion Raji. You are my favorite XRP YouTuber. I've been collecting XRP and XLM for 3 years now. Getting to the pointy end is very exciting. Oh man, I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you for the kind words, and I really appreciate you. Really looking forward to celebrating with you too when things pop off. Sally, what's up, Sally Springer? We appreciate you. Thank you for all the research and positivity. Love that, Sally. Great to have you here. Yeah, we're gonna, you know, when things pop off, guys, listen. It's gonna be all done. Like, I can't even imagine getting to that point where you have like so much money that you don't know what to do with it, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm a fairly smart person and I fairly positioned myself pretty well in what's to come. And, you know, I'm prepared for it to go either way, right? Like, obviously the world could end tomorrow and I could never know what happens, right? Or things can go like we think they might go, and you have a lot of options at that time, right? And money doesn't solve everything, but it solves a lot of problems. And, you know, it'll create some problems for some people too. So, how you manage that and how you spend that and how you can give back to maybe others around you, that's going to be kind of how you're remembered, right? And I think there's going to be a lot of really incredible things that some people do with their new fortunes. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that and being a part of some of those stories with people. And I think that could be a pretty interesting thing, just to interview some people that are really trying to put good things out in the world to help, any way they can. I think like one of the things that I would like to do is buy a bunch of farmland and create like a utopia for dogs that are in shelters, like the dogs that, don't get adopted, like last chance, take them out of there, give them an entire farm to run around in and enough food to last a lifetime. I think that would be something I would really be interested in doing. Yes, I do look healthier. I appreciate that. Yes, physical therapy twice a week. Still, I've been doing that for 9 months, and every now and then I get to the gym. So thank you, appreciate that. How much XRP do you think is needed? So this is a great question, right? But this is also goes back to, what is your lifestyle? Where do you live? How much money do you need to live off of, right? And what type of lifestyle do you think you need to have? There's some people that can get by on the smallest of margins and they don't need extravagance. And so for those people, I would imagine a few thousand XRP would be more than enough once we reach full capacity and scale. But if you are a little spend heavy, if your wife likes to shop, I don't know, right? I'm just giving you some pictures from my life. You might need a little bit more. A good friend of mine just got into crypto and just started in the last few months buying XRP. And he set his goal at 10,000 tokens. And I know 10,000 is a lot. But I think, if XRP reaches $1,000, 10,000 would be 10 million, 5,000 would be 50 million, and $10,000 per XRP would be $100 million. At $100 million, you're going to be able to earn anywhere from 4, 6, 7%, through Flare and other DeFi areas. $100 million earning, 4 to 7%. You're talking about, $3 to $6 million per year off interest. So if you can't live off like that, you probably need more. But if you don't need that in extravagance, people get away with 1,000, 2,000 XRP. But I think getting to 1,000 at least is probably something people should try to do. Obviously, I can't give you financial advice and I can't tell you what to do with your money. But the people that own maybe 10 XRP or 20 XRP and expect to be multimillionaires, I just don't. Unless XRP is at 100 grand a token, like you're not going to be a millionaire, right? So, you got to go with what you're okay with if you lose, right? Because, we don't know how this is going to play out. We look at the information and we make assumptions based off that research and that knowledge that this and this could happen, and XRP's utility could shine through, right? And the supply could drop through the floor, and the ETF demand could pick up. I'd imagine once regulation kicks in, more and more people will be buying crypto. So, go with what you want on that. There's people that have, goals of 25,000, 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, right? But I think that's more than enough. Once you kind of get like 10,000 XRP is a really good goal for people. But, you got to do what you can do, financially. You never push AMC. Yeah, I'm not the AMC person. Yeah, definitely. I'm down for that. I think having a grand party would be good. Obviously, I think there'll be more than that, but we'd have to buy like every firework on the island or just bring more in. You kind of want like a 30-minute firework show. You could get some like cool ones that explode into XRP. That would be awesome. And I mean, Nicole's in charge of the party planning. You know, I think Nicole wanted to be in charge of the party planning, so I'm gonna have her set everything up. 20 XRP and I'm a millionaire. See, like Cosmos. There you go. Yeah, I mean, that would be crazy, right? Like you hear, I'm trying to imagine who else other than Jake has talked about $100,000 XRP, but I can't think of anybody else at this point. Is there anybody else that has commented on $100,000 XRP? I don't think so. Yeah, to get to that level, I mean, what would be the market cap? Hold on. Let me find out. Let's just pull this up, right? If XRP reached 10K per token, what would be the market cap? Let's see here, 10K, 25K, 50K. And let's just put a dollar sign so it knows we want to know this specifically. I think this is going to have to be quadrillions, like quadrillion. It's going to have to be a lot. It's going to have to be a lot. Yeah, there you go. So there's the market caps, guys. But this is with everything circulating. Obviously, this is the whole float, and you don't have that, right? So, yeah. And market caps work a little differently in the crypto market than they do in the real world, and you know, I don't know. We're entering a phase that nobody truly knows how high these things can go, right? And obviously the crypto market is filled with a ton of risk. That's why I have really focused down in just talking about the one asset that I feel comfortable talking about, right? And that's XRP, right? I do share some other stuff in the community, but I've just been focused on adding more to my XRP bags. And I've been adding a few other things, minor things, but I think this is what I need, you know? And if I can own more of it, then I have more options. So I don't know. It's getting exciting, man. Getting exciting. You love the idea? Is that the dog idea, or which idea is that? Buy the ranch they filmed Jurassic Park in? Yeah, that's actually, I don't know if I've been there, but I know what ranch you're talking about. I think they have like ATV riding. Bill O'Brien, love the content. Grateful that you share your knowledge. Do you have a diversified portfolio, or are you all in on XRP? I have some other stuff, but it's not close to the XRP that I have. Yeah. There's like, if we had to list 10 assets that I think will be successful, and this is just kind of like randomly popping off my head, but XLM, Solana. So we like here, let's put them in order from like max value. Ethereum, Solana, like obviously XRP's first, right? I think I'll have to say it though first. XRP, Ethereum, Solana. Probably Solana over Ethereum at this point, though. I think Solana has more room to grow than Ethereum does, but I'll just put that out. People like, I guess if you want Bitcoin, cool. But then XLM, Quant, Chainlink, XDC. I mean, XDC is at $1 billion market cap. There's probably going to be some adoption in trade finance. They got the R3 connection. But like, what do you put on the last one here, right? Because there's a ton of other assets that people love and talk about. You could put, I don't know, man. That's tough. Did I say Cardano? I think Cardano will probably have some pretty good moves too. But yeah, like outside of that, there's a lot of risk, you know? Most crypto projects that you see today won't be here in a few years. Most of this technology won't survive. You know, we all kind of get excited when a new crypto project launches and it's new ideas and new possibilities, but I've seen a lot of companies come and go, thousands at this point, maybe even tens of thousands at this point. And what I've learned is everybody's got a great idea, but very few people can take that idea and deliver on it. Very few people can build the community around that idea to push it forward enough. And when you start getting into the top 100, 500,000 cryptos, you're really starting to dilute what the possibility is. And as you slide down that scale, your risk curve just is becoming much, much higher, right? And people like those smaller cap, DeFi, real world asset, AI, gaming projects, because if they do make big moves, there's big returns. But a lot of those don't make it, right? They don't have the team, they don't have the runway, they don't have the talent. And a lot of it is overpromise and underdeliver. And even quality projects with quality CEOs and quality this, quality that, a few wrong moves, whether it's in marketing or the way that you treated the community in some way, right? You've done something that has pushed the community away from you. That is catastrophic. And very few crypto projects can come back from that edge. And it's not worth the risk to me to put more money into things that are risky. I know that if I funnel my money into just a few of these tokens, that I have the biggest chance for success when adoption really happens. And that's just how I've looked at the market. I used to meme coins, new DeFi, seed rounds, like all of these things. And I can say that I've made a lot of money and I've lost a lot of money, right? And I can tell you that I've been promised the world from CEOs, and very few are able to deliver on what they say. So, just understand, just like the internet, the crypto market will experience this big boom, but you're also going to have a big bust cycle. And 95, 98% of things won't make it, won't be here in a few years. Just plan accordingly. See, like Ross Eve says, if I get rich, the number one priority is paying my mom back for all the mess I put her through. Ross, I think we can all understand where you're coming from. I think we all feel like we want to take care of the people that have done everything for us and been there and supported us, even when we probably did some things that, life is complicated. And so I totally understand you wanting to take care of your mom. And I'm really looking forward to that day happening, man. Really looking forward to it. Let's see here. Peter says you could switch your focus to success stories and your followers would be inspiring. I've been thinking about that, right? Like, what do I do once you guys don't need XRP news anymore, right? Or crypto news. And I think there's a way that we could take the channel and create inspiring ideas from people using that wealth. I mean, through this whole process, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of really happy people at the end of this. And if those people want to share what they're doing in their lives, I think that would be kind of a cool way to explore that, right? And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, I'll be on the beach with Luna, hanging out. Come find me. Hello from Venezuela. What about the news? Are we talking about the U.S. Venezuela news about the oil tanker? Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like to live in Venezuela right now, to know that, things that are going on right now with the U.S. and, my thoughts and prayers are with you. And I hope this doesn't escalate into something. Thank you for being here. Yeah, well, 30% is not actually too bad, man. Taxes here could be a little bit more and they could be a little bit less depending on where you live. It's funny that no, you know what? I'm not gonna get into that. Yep. Nope. We're just going to take the left exit here and not the right exit. But yes, taxes can be a lot in a lot of places. So you just got to find, and you know what? It's hard. It's your home, and at the end of the day, paying taxes is kind of your duty, your patriotic duty. And, it does suck when, there's maybe a large part of a certain population that could work and provide and be a plus to society, and they choose to not do that and live off the, there's all kinds of different people, right? And there's people that need the system, right? That are maybe disabled and things like that, right? And so the world is very complicated, right? And then, you know, paying those taxes are a way to, you know, support your country. And you could probably disagree with how your country spends that money, and we could have a whole conversation on that. But, you know, 30%, I'll take 30%, man. Sign me up. So Justin's, if you have 27,000 XRP, I'd say that's a pretty good amount, man. I'd say you have a lot more XRP than most people. And, you know, you should be happy with that, bro. Are we hitting 3 digits by the end of the year? No. I personally don't think so, Bill. I've been saying that for last few months. You know, I thought maybe ETFs could send us $10, $20 by the end of the year. You know, personally, I thought there could be a little bit more demand for spot XRP ETFs. I mean, you listen to like Stephen McClurg, he was throwing out $5 billion into XRP the first 30 days. When I was looking at some of those numbers, I was like, well, if that's really the case, the price probably would go to like $10, $20. But the 750s, the $100, I mean, I guess we'll see, man. You know, I wouldn't be against it. I'd love it. But I just don't know if it's a reality, right? But one of these days we're gonna hit one of those projections, man. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, here, let's do this. Let me play a little bit more for you guys here. I'm gonna grab some more water, but you know, we did have some big news with the DTCC, and I think we should spend a little time in talking about that because it is quite a big deal. So let's bring this video up. I did show this video yesterday, and if you're seeing it for a second time or a third time, I do apologize, but I'm gonna grab some water. I'm gonna come back and give you some additional context of what's going on here, okay? Why this is important.
I'm very happy to share with you that today marks a pivotal moment for our industry and the future of digital markets. After years of industry experimentation with digital technology, I'm excited to let you know that DTCC has received a no-action letter from the SEC. This letter authorizes us to develop and operate a new and voluntary service to tokenize assets held at DTC. This is a significant milestone for several reasons. First, our new tokenization service will serve as the bridge between TradFi and DeFi. Upon launch in the second half of 2026, we will support the tokenization of liquid assets, including the Russell 1000, ETFs tracking major indices, and other assets. Second, and importantly, we will offer the same investor protections and ownership rights as traditional book entry securities currently held in custody by DTC. In other words, we will provide digital assets the same care as we do traditional ones. And third, our new service will yield transformational benefits for industry participants and their underlying investors. These include greater collateral mobility, new trading modalities, and 24/7 access. We're excited to help innovate for the industry and to empower our participants and their clients to tokenize. In doing so, we work with the industry to create a safe, sound, and efficient market infrastructure for digital securities. Collaboration has been a cornerstone of DTCC since our founding more than 50 years ago, and I'm very proud to say that today's announcement will build upon our legacy of innovating for the global markets. It's one more example of how we serve our industry and how we will continue to do so for the next 50 years. While the new tokenization service is an important step forward to drive digital asset adoption, in many ways it represents just the beginning of a larger transformation that we will help drive as a strategic partner to the industry. We look forward to continuing to provide leadership to support our members and their clients on their digital asset journey. I want to take a moment to thank all of you who have worked so hard to make this possible. Thank you.
All right, and then here you go. Nate Garossi says DTC will have the ability to tokenize real-world assets with the digital version having all the same entitlements, investor protections, and ownership rights as the asset in traditional form. The depository trust company, you're paying attention now, all right? And I mean, God, I was looking back at some of the content I was making from years ago talking about this, and it's just incredible to finally see this come to fruition, right? Things that we thought were going to happen with the tokenization of traditional markets, it's all happening. That's the future. And, I think a lot of people underestimate the impact it's going to have on some of these assets. If the crypto asset that you hold is being used in any way, shape, or form in a 100 trillion, 500 trillion, whatever it is market, I mean, all bets are off. We speculating at $2, $3, right? You start using it for global liquidity, there's some serious things that are going to happen to the price. And then everyone's going to want the asset, right? It's going to get interesting. Do you think Swift will use so Swift is mainly the messaging platform, right? And banks can use Swift messaging to send other banks message like, hey, we're about to send you this money. Banks are going to have the option to use RippleNet messaging and other avenues. So do I think that new technology will eat into Swift's market share? Absolutely. Absolutely. Will Swift be totally replaced? Possibility. I guess anything is possible at this point. The problem Swift has now is, how do you compete? Right? Okay, you're going to go with Linea and Ethereum to build a new messaging service, but your fees are still going to be stupid and high. And if banks have stable coins, why do they need you? That is where I think, they might start having problems. And I think banks understand that they need to either adapt or die at this point, right? Because the banks that don't adopt this technology, they won't be banks in 5 years, because all of their customers will leave, right? If your bank doesn't have the latest services and technology, I mean, just think about it. When you're out with a friend and somebody says something, you're like, whoa, your bank can do that? That's cool. My bank doesn't have that. Like, give you an example here. In Hawaii, just recently, we got Venmo at one of the local banks here. And everyone's like, oh, we got Venmo. I was like, man, I had Venmo like 10 years ago in California, right? And so some banks are going to be slower on the adoption curve, but those banks are probably going to lose the most market share. The banks that are innovating in this space right now, those are the banks that are going to capture the most market share. Because it's your money. You have power. And you're going to go to the place that you can get the most services for your money. It's just how people are, We want to feel taken care of. We want to feel like there's trust and a partnership, and you are doing something specific for me, and you're going to have so many more choices here in the future. So now you're going to have to compete for my business. I like that. I like that a lot. Your content is much being watched all over the world. I personally from Canada, great content. Viom, thank you so much. It's incredible to see people from all walks of life in all different places, supporting the channel. And like, it's, never would I thought I have so many people in Australia and the UK and Canada, South America. I mean, it's an honor. It really is. Appreciate you, Ecker Trend Novations. Great to see you, man. Sensei, can you do a 5-minute segment for beginners? Just they further break down some of the language or terms? Frank. So yeah, Frank, let me take a photo of that. Are we talking about like XRP specifically or crypto in general, Frank? I can work on something like that. Probably next week though. I'm looking forward to taking a little time off. Saturdays are my favorite day of the week though. Saturdays I get maybe sleep in a bit. I don't got to get up at 5:30 or 6. Start. I got to wake up. Luna wakes up at like 5:45 and she wants to be fed because my wife gets up really early, and then like Luna wakes up and she's like, "It's time to feed me." And if you don't feed Luna, she'll just keep waking up and like doing like she shakes in her head, her ears go ba 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 ba, and it wakes you up. And she'll sit down and she'll stare at you until you feed her. Like she's not messing around. She's got like You ever see the Shrek movie with the cat? He's got the cat eyes, you know, looking up, and it's all like cute. That's Luna. And so got to feed Luna. And then if I feed Luna, I could try to go back to bed for like an hour. So wake up, usually, you know, maybe order some breakfast, and then, you know, run some errands with the wife and do some things. And then I get to go, I play cards on Saturday. I play cards. So I go watch, you know, watch a football game or something, just hang out with people, not really talk about crypto, even though it gets brought up now that I'm at the game. That's kind of like what I most enjoy when I'm not, because usually 6-7 days a week I'm on my laptop recording stuff. There is not a day in the past maybe like 3 months, unless I'm sick, that I've not recorded. So you know, it's an ongoing process. Krillex, absolutely, man. I mean, listen, if I could answer everybody's question, I would. I just kind of pick it at random, and hopefully it helped you, man. Since a question, so a buddy of mine works with gold, and I mean institutional buying in metric tons for companies, banks to be trading XRP for those type of deals. XRP got to go up. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You know, it can't be at this lower speculative value. For XRP to be kind of used for its full potential, the price definitely needs to be a lot higher. And I think like that's what David Schwartz also said. Man, it sounds like your friend has a pretty cool job. Metric tons, man. That's like, I don't even know, man. That's like a whole unit full of gold. Oh, could you imagine? He's probably got a pretty fun job. You get to go in some of these vaults and see all the gold. Could you imagine? It's got to be like, remember like back in the day, you used to watch DuckTales in like the 80s or whatever, and Scrooge McDuck, whatever his name was, he dove into the vault of gold coins. That's what it would feel like to me. Oh, man. Let's see here. We got K-Dot says, dreaming of the day I get to walk away from my job. Over relied upon and underpaid. Can't wait to shake your hand after price appreciation. Man, I feel that. When I was in the workforce, you know, I have a very strong personality any which way, right? You either kind of like me or you don't like me, right? Because I can be a little intense at times, and that's just kind of, you know, who I am. And you know, when it comes to like sales and things like that, I want to go and talk with whoever I need to get things done. And you know, I know that people work extremely hard, and they show up every day, and sometimes their manager, boss, whatever it is, don't see the hard work that you're doing, or see the hard work you're doing and underappreciate you. And having power to say thank you, but no thank you. You know, I'm done here. I'm going to go live my life. I don't have to be in this debt trap anymore. I think that is why I'm most interested in being here and talking about these things, right? I never thought that I would be able to do this, do this crypto, create content. Like, this is all kind of new to me, right? I didn't know, 10 years ago that I would be creating YouTube content daily. And, this has allowed me to, kind of, there's a long story kind of what is going on in my life, but short story here is I've had a lot of surgery on my body due to a genetic issue. And that surgery and all of those cuts and saws and things like that put a lot of strain on my lower half. And it's really hard for me to stand up for a long period of time. And so it's been difficult place and where that is, right? And so being able to create YouTube content is not only allows me to spend more time with my dog, which is really important, like one of the most important things to me, but also kind of allows me to just be here and to live in the moment and to make this content. I don't have someone breathing down my neck and somebody that I don't want to deal with. Like, I could just be by myself and with Luna, right? And a lot of people don't have that. And that can be tough. And just know that I'm totally with you, K-Dot. I'm looking forward to shaking your hand, man, once all of this stuff pops off. And, you might have to send me that resignation letter or whatever you're going to say. You might want to record it, because I'd like to, be there in that moment when you get to say thank you, but no thank you. Kurt says, I love the channel and community. Honestly, such a great part of my life. Most of you know, Each one of you brings something. I love here. I love what we built. What an army. Well said, Christopher. Yeah, man. Quant is Gilbert Verdian. Oh yeah, H-bar. Yes. See, that's what I forgot earlier. FML. Yeah, top 5. H-bar would be in the top 5. XRP, Ethereum, Solana, H-bar. XLM? What do you put in that top 5? Quant? See, that's difficult. Yeah, I forgot H-bar. Litecoin, that's also something that a lot of people have been looking at. See, like, it's hard to niche names 10 tokens. SHX, yes. See, I'm leaving things out. People are catching up on the stream. Or I'm way behind on the stream and the comments if that's the case. Let me just go back down to the comments. XRP will be tax-free. Imagine banks, institutions taxing every transaction. Dude, could you imagine? Could you imagine XRP being tax-free? Oh my God, I was so far behind on the comments, guys. I'm so sorry. Daniel, appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. You appreciate me. I appreciate you. We got Bruce here gifting 5 memberships. Bruce, thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, Ondo. Shoot. See, like, yeah, see how out of control this can get? Like, we could build a list of like 25 great projects right now. But like, the hard part is you can't buy all of them. Or you can, but like most people have a limited of what they can invest in, right? Not everyone's working with $100,000 or $1 million or $10 million to invest, right? And so people have to be very picky and choosy what they decide to be a part of. And you know, that's crypto. Velo, yep, Velo, XRP, XLM, XCC, HBAR, Algorand, BTC, nice. Do you pick somebody? I think you click on it, don't you? When somebody does the free memberships, I think you just click on it, isn't it? Oh, I appreciate you. Wealth Solutions. Congratulations on your excellent work. You motivate us, man. That's beautiful. I if the energy can come through on your end, and you can feel that, and it can make you happy as well as educate you. You know, we're hitting all the soft spots. It's great. We're having fun. Oh, YouTube picks? Oh, that's brutal. I feel like if we woke up one day and XRP was at like a really stupid number, that I would come on a live stream and I would probably see the most donations to the channel in like history. You know, like people would be donating like $1,000 or something. Like YouTube would be maxed out, because like there's gonna be a lot of people that wake up one day and it's gonna be like, you know, like you're just in shock. And once that shock wears down and maybe you have a drink or a smoke, I don't know what it is that you do to calm down, then you're going to start, like, first thing you'll probably do is get on your phone, start looking at houses or cars, or maybe something for somebody in your life that you really care about. You know, people are going to be going shopping. But like once you kind of get through that first phase, then you got to kind of like plan, now what, you know? And that's going to be exciting. Drink. Yeah. So yeah, see, however you chill and calm down at the end of the day, right? All good. I am not a judge here, you know? But yes, whatever it is that calms you down, you'll have to go through that. And once you're done, you know, it'll kick in, it'll sink in. Damn, am I 42? I think so. Wait, I was something like that. I was born in 84, September. I think I'm 41 still. I'll be 42 next year. Crazy. Yeah, McLaren sports car. Like, that sounds good to me. McLaren, Ferrari. I don't know. I just also don't want to kill myself too. 82. See, 80s kids, you know, they know what's up, right? We didn't have internet for a while, and then all of a sudden you got dial-up, and like your whole world started to change. And you know, kids these days, they don't know. They don't remember like Nintendo, Atari, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Man, they got like 3D and all kinds of games these days. Damn, Rolls Royce. Yeah, there's some pretty sick. You know what is a Rolls Royce where you turn the car on and the emblem comes out of the hood, right? That is one of the coolest features I've seen, man. See, everyone's now talking about what they want once price appreciation. I love that. Bentley. Yeah, there's not going to be enough sports cars. I have a feeling that Ferrari, Lambo, Aston Martin, they're going to be like maxed out, right? Because some people are just, that's what's important to them. They want to have, 50 cars in their garage, or I don't know, I don't know what's important to you, right? Everyone's going to be different. But it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Private jet. Yeah. See, you got to have a lot of money to have a private jet. You need to be like a billionaire to have a private jet. I guess you could go with like a smaller private jet, but you're still paying the flight crew. You got to have a pilot on call. You got to have a stewardess or somebody that's going to be there to feed you and do that kind of stuff. I can't imagine that's cheap. So, I guess how much XRP you have. Nothing too flashy. You're going to get kidnapped. Yeah, see, that's also something. That's also something. Bodyguard, I'm with you. No, from Nampa. Great to see you. How's it going? To the moon. I appreciate you. Thank you. Get me a yacht, a camper, cash flowing business, and I'm good. Game of Cats knows what yacht they want to buy. They're already looking at it. You know whose yacht was here a few months ago? Maybe this was last month. Who's the lady that wrote the Harry Potter books? What's her name again? Her boat was here. I don't know if she still owns it, but it was real nice. J.K. Rowling, yeah, her yacht was here. It was parked kind of where the big cruise ships come in. And it was big. It was big. Jeff Ellison. No, I think it's Ellison's the Oracle guy. Ellison's the Oracle guy. Yeah, J.K. Rowling was the person. So, Jay Pardo, are you good with 1,000 XRP? It really, we go back to what's your lifestyle like? Where do you think XRP is going to end up? If you can manage all of the things in your life with the 1,000 XRP, awesome. You go. Personally, I need a little more, because I know I like to shop, and I know that I probably spend too much money sometimes. I don't know, you go out and you're with your family or something, your wife likes something, you want to be like, all right, babe, we'll get that, things are going a little bit better this year, we'll put that on there, right? And then we're like, okay, we'll put that on. You're like, oh my God, I got all these bags now. Went too hard. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I have a problem at the Coach store. Yeah, see, yeah, you and my wife have the same problem, but it's all good, man. She puts up with me, so it's well worth it for her. Greetings from Austria, Chris. I don't know, you might be the first person from Austria, man. What's up? Is 30,000 XRP enough? I think 30,000 is enough. Yeah, 30,000 is a good bag. Obviously, 50,000. See, that's my problem. When I set a goal for XRP and I reach the goal, I'm like, maybe I should try to buy a little more, and then I put up a new goal, and then I slowly get to that goal, and I'm like, maybe I want a little more. It's never enough. Max, hey from England, what's up, my man? Sveta, you out of here? Hey, you have a good weekend. Not financial advice, but to me, in my opinion, it's worth it to get a personal or business loan at 10 to 15% to max out 10x returns. Yeah, I mean, that idea is not crazy, but that is risk, right? It's like life, right? We think we know where things are going to go, but when we get there, usually it's a little different than what we thought was going to happen. But you are not crazy with what you're posting here, Game of Cats. Not crazy at all. I like it, actually. It's more on the let's go all in risky side, and I can get down with that. If you like this job, go ahead and invest in your own commercial real estate building. Just take a loan and borrow against your XRP. Then Starbucks and Panera Bread can pay you monthly to lease to you. I think that's a pretty great idea, Joni Peters. Thank you for that. I think there's a lot of really, really smart people like you that are going to transform and be these massive business titans. I'm really looking forward to seeing that happen. Let's see here. Hey, brother, Crypto Sensei, where do you put your cryptos to get yield? So, there are places across the crypto space. Some of them carry much more risks than others. Personally, I'm going to be waiting to see like everything that Flare puts out. I think that's probably going to be one of the more reliable areas in ecosystems to earn yield for your XRP. It's all risk, right? Once you move your XRP out of your wallet to a contract where anything can happen, you'd start taking on that risk, right? And the reward needs to match the risk level. And there's going to be ways to get like insurance as well. Like we were talking about that when I had the StratX, I always get the names mixed up in my head, excuse me, and Flare. We're talking about insurance on some of the products that they had. And I think that's going to be very valuable in the future. And I think people, we don't even really talk about that right now. And so there's going to be a lot of places to get yield. Just know just be very careful, right? Anytime you go into some of these things, it's all risk. Understand what you're getting into. Understand, that you could lose all of that crypto if something bad happens, right? There's just always the risk that comes along with it. Personally, like if I had, let's just say I had 1,000 XRP, I would probably only put 10%, maybe 15% into some of these things just in case something happened. You just got to be careful and spread out your risk. Yeah, commercial properties are in oversupply, right? And banks are taking a bloodbath on them. So I'm sure there's going to be some good deals. Your sister lives in Kapolei? Nice. I used to live Koalina, Eva Beach. My early days on the island, Koalina before Disney got there, and Forever Beach, we called it because of the traffic. So great, man. Love to hear that. Your sister sounds like a cool person. If Flare advertised 10%, that's insane. That's crazy. Could you imagine, $100 million earning $10 million a year? Just whatever. Oh, man. So nobody wants to own a 100-acre farm and have a river running through it. I think that's something that I specifically talked about at the beginning of the stream. One of the things that I would like to do, and my wife would like to do, is to buy some land, like what you're talking about, and dogs that are, in some of these, what would you call them? Pounds, places that last minute adoptions don't happen. And, some dogs get euthanized, and that's really sad. And so if you could have a land where dogs can just like roam free and you can feed them at the end of the day and they can all just hang out and, do what dogs do, I think that would be really cool. Let's see. Who are some of your favorite people to follow on X and Y coming from you from Michigan? Who are some of my favorite people to follow? Like, are we talking about like YouTube, X, my personal life? Like, I got to give me a little bit more, Denny, and I can answer that question. I just don't want to, spill all the tea here. Let's see here. Bird Mad Media. Hey, I'm from Virginia Beach. I'm getting back from work. What did I miss? Really, Ripple really got approved. Yes, they got approved. They have this now set up the bank and hire all the people. That could take anywhere from nine months to a year. If they were starting this fresh, it could take 18 months. But now that they have the approval, they can set up the bank, and then they have to have a final approval from the OCC. They'll come in and check all of the things that Ripple has set up. We did talk about that towards the middle of the stream. I go through like the 8 or 9 steps Ripple has to go through to now set up the bank. And I also have a video coming out either later tonight or tomorrow morning on all the steps that Ripple needs to do to become this regulated bank. So there's a lot of content that's going to help you better understand what's happening there. And yeah, let me know if you got any questions. It's funny how a few influencers have attacked Jake in the same week. I mean, kind of brings it on himself though, doesn't he? I don't know, man. I just can't. I don't really know if we want to re-engage with this. But like, if you were a real insider and you really knew what was going on, you wouldn't have to make 50 different price predictions for XRP in a 6-month period, right? You would only need one. Like, if you really knew, you would only need one prediction because you knew. Right? Sounds to me like we are just clutching at straws. And eventually someone's going to say, he was right. Okay, but he was wrong 99.9% of other times. Right? So like, you know, you gotta give and the take here, man. Like, it's fun to talk about, you know, we have 18 days left in the year, 19 days left in the year, and we'll assess when we get there. You know, I hope he's right. Real, I would love him for him to be right. I mean, you know what I could do with all that money? Oh my goodness. There's some units in Ala Moana. It's called like Park Lane, I think it's called. Let me see. Yeah, here, check this out. See, you want to see here? Oh, wait, hold on. Somebody says, where do you see H bar in 5 years from now? I don't have enough knowledge in the H bar stack. I know there's a lot of really incredible companies that lead up the leadership team for H bar. I can't remember what the council specifically called, but I know that H bar, very cheap, very fast, very efficient, carbon friendly. They have some CBDC stuff as well. I think that's going to be one of those networks that is going to be used heavily by certain companies and institutions. And, you know, you probably would want to ask this question to an HBAR person, like somebody that makes HBAR content. But let me show you this, guys. All right. So you want to know, like, one of the nicest places to live in Hawaii is going to be Park Lane. You have an uninterrupted view of, do they show you the building? Oh, that's kind of design. I think this place, yeah, here you go. Here you go. All right. So here behind these units is the actual mall. It's an outside mall. It's called Ala Moana. And these units actually have like what you can't, like what they're facing is the ocean. And wow. Yeah, here they are. I live somewhere in this photo. You can't specifically see exactly where I live, but it's somewhere in this photo. I live right across from, like, we usually bike, like there's a bike station like right here on this street. And we usually ride bikes through the park and along this trail and back out. Yeah, see, here's the views inside. Look at this. Yeah. Yeah. I think the maintenance fees on this is $10,000 a month, but I think these units are several million. Penthouses, let's take a look at that. Yeah, see, like this is probably what I'd spend a little bit of money on. Grand penthouses request our principal. Oh, see, they can't even tell you what they are. But yeah, that would be something I'd be interested in. Bird, I appreciate you. Birdman Medium. Thank you for the support, man. You have a great night as well. Thank you for being here. Just got back from the future, and XRP is huge. Honestly, if you're not in on this, you're probably still trying to mine Bitcoin with a potato battery. Buckle up. XRP turns this into crypto royalty. You're so funny. I really like you. Sensei, you got unbelievable knowledge. You should start a financial investment company. Yeah, well, you know, I don't need all that. I really don't. Like, I don't want to be responsible for other people's money, you know? Like, that's not something I ever needed in my life. Yes, it would be cool to say I run a billion-dollar hedge fund. Like, okay, you know, I'd rather spend the time with people that I really love and care about and just do something that I really want to do. And running a hedge fund is not something that I want to do. At least not right now. You know, that could change in years to come. But, you know, if I can help people along the way and share the knowledge that I have for free, I think that has in value in itself, right? And if this works out for me, it works out for all of you, and that'll mean something to me. You know, that'll mean a lot to me to see all of you successful. And that's all I need, really. You know, that's all I need, man. But I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, help people learn and help dogs. That's where I'm at right now, you know? Um yeah, don't need much, you know? I don't know, I think like the what tugs on my heartstrings is like, you know, my wife keeps talking about a second dog, and we're like, "Oh, do we buy like another version of Luna, or do we get some, you know, a dog that needs help?" And like, you know, we start to look at some of these like situations that dogs find themselves in, and like, you know, dogs are just, they're good souls, you know, and it's just so sad to see them kind of locked up in cages and things like that. And I don't know, it just tears on my heartstrings, you know. And like, if I could do something about that at scale, I might do that, you know. Sounds good to me. And think about all the happy dogs, you know, like that would be a really cool place to be. Obviously, you need to watch out where you're walking, because, you know, that's going to be a free reign place to, there's going to be a lot of a mess, but, you know, it'll be, maybe you hire someone to clean up the mess. Maybe we'll have some robots cleaning up the mess, and you have like 1,000 dogs or something. I don't know. I have a I don't know if I want to get into this. You know what? I won't. This could land me in some hot water. So, you know, I don't want to talk. There's a certain part of my life that a person that I met before my wife, she has like this farm in like Georgia, and she has all these weird animals, and I don't know. I think that's cool, but like a lot of just randomness, like cows and chickens and cats and ducks and all kinds of weird stuff. Like I just like dogs. Dogs give us unconditional love. That's absolutely right. Yeah, dogs need us the most. See, we got some dog people in the crowd. They know what's up. So let's see here. There's a good question here. Do you think a lot of these crypto companies know that they're not going anywhere? Absolutely. And they're just trying to make money before they file bankruptcy? Absolutely. Yeah. 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 Big time. It's a big part of the industry. You know, there are 5 to 6 different companies that reach out to me a day to work with them. And my team and I say no to 90 something percent of those companies, because a lot of them don't have like real fundamentals that I would feel comfortable talking about, you know. And um, they come in, they raise money on pre-sales. They say that they're going to build technology and it's going to be great. Like, you know what frustrates me? Like, there's like, I spend a lot of my time on X, and there's people on X that are building some incredible technology. But there's also people on X that claim that they're building incredible technology. And when you start to dig through the layers, you look at the community, you look at the white paper, the roadmap, the treasury, how much like how much money that they have to support the team. Like, when you start uncovering some of these layers, you start to see that there's not a lot there. And most of these people that are now so experienced running a company, Some of them are on the dev side, and they're really kind of more dev people than knowing how to take a product to market at scale. And there's just a lot of screw ups, and a lot of people get into this from the Web2 world. Hey, we're going to go build a crypto token, right? We're going to have this and we're going to have a token. Well, why do you need the token? We're going to raise money off the token. You get a lot of that. And, it's just a lot of this is going to fail, and it has failed. It's failed tremendously. And there's still a lot of, scam-like tactics that are employed every day. And there's a lot of accounts on X that are still promoting the same scam over and over again. And it just shocks you. How can you have a pre-sale for a year? Haven't you raised enough money that you cannot launch the project? You still have a pre-sale a year later or 6 months later. A pre-sale should be a few hours, maybe a day, right? And then you take that capital and then you launch the project. But there's greed, there's criminality, there's all kinds of things that people, they don't realize that what they're putting their money into will never come to fruition. And we get convinced this is an opportunity. My friend told me about this. Somebody that I listened to said about that. And we get sucked in. And we look at the zeros, right? We look at, if this goes to this, then I'm going to have this much. And we stop looking at the actual fundamentals of what these people are trying to build, right? If anything, is there any real technology there at all? Where is this company made? Where is it registered? Can you actually physically find the owner of that company? What do they look like? What is their previous history? What have they done in the crypto space? What have they done in the Web2 space? Have they been a CEO before? Have they led a project of this scale? What is the use case for the technology? Who are the investors? Who invest in the investment companies, right? Because you have a lot of these newer, kind of hedge fund type companies, that people inject money and capital into, and they invest in some kind of, shady crypto startup. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that needs to be cleaned up in the crypto market. And with regulation, you're going to start cleaning that up. And, people should ask for more. They should ask for more information. They should ask for more from the team and the project. And just know that a lot of this technology is gonna fall flat on its head. A lot of it will. And if you focus too much on the dream and not focus on the fundamentals, you're gonna get lost in it. And not just lost time, but lost money and lost opportunity, right? You have a really important window right now. Okay. And the window is closing. And I know we talked about this for years, and we are at that point now where you're starting to bring capital markets on chain, right? And you're starting to get regulation, and you're starting to get Apple and Google and Visa and MasterCard, and the biggest institutions in the world are preparing now for this infrastructure. Once you kind of pass that, whatever that date is, I don't know. But there's going to become a day that something happens where now it's too late. Now you've missed it. The market could go up. The market could go down. There could be a black swan event. Things can crash. They will come back. I cannot tell you what the next 6 to 12 months will look like. I can just tell you that in 2026, a lot of things are going to come to a head. Will that push prices to places that won't come back down, right? Are we going to still have bear markets where we drop 80 to 90%? I personally don't think we're at that point anymore. Because look, if you have an 80 to 90% haircut on like HBAR and XLM and X, really, is it even possible now? Now you will have bear markets where, things go 50%, but I don't know if we're ever going to return to the days where you're going to be able to buy XRP at 25 cents again or 50 cents, right? I just don't know if that's a reality. I can't imagine, you know. I guess there's always a possibility, but no snakes, no snakes. Rodney from Los Angeles checking in. What's up, Rodney? Big Kahuna in the house. The haircut looks good. I appreciate that. I've been going, so like I met this person that cuts my hair when I was like 20 years old. And I left Hawaii and I came back and he's still cutting hair. And you know, he's from Japan. Been here a long time though, but still very strong accent. And you know, it's fun. I talk. He plays, you know, some different video games and things like that. So I get to live vicariously through him. I don't have time to play games anymore. But you know, I always tell him that, you know, one day, you know, if all this crypto stuff works out, we'll be retired on the beach and we'll just come over and we'll play games together or something. So a lot of fun. Let's see here. Seth says his top 5 are XRP, HBAR, XLM, Flare, and ZBIC. Pretty good roundup there. Do we like Weeble? What is Weeble? I don't know what Weeble is. Weeble's decent. What is Weeble? Lockups, thank you so much for the membership. Great to see you. Yeah, store of value is what Bitcoin is, right? That's what it's, a store of value. Oh, XRP Army Chacha. Are you the person that tags me in the posts? I think similar name. You know, Bitcoin is store of value. Cool. I don't care. I don't care. I would rather have something that has utility. You can keep the store of value. If I wanted a store of value, I'd buy gold, right? Obviously, Bitcoin could perform better than gold over the next 10 years if Bitcoin doesn't run into the seriousness of people figuring out who actually created it. Once you lose that mysteriousness of who created it, because like once you find out who created it, why did you create it, right? And that leads to all kinds of people being skeptical. And what if it's a 3-letter agency? What if the government was behind it, right? It came out of the financial crisis. Could you imagine who would want to hold Bitcoin if they found out that the US government was behind it, right? I don't know. It would be some serious problems. And then of course, you know, there's a lot of manipulation that happens with Bitcoin and Tether. And I don't know. I feel like someday, sometime, something's going to happen with Bitcoin. I don't know, good, bad, indifferent. You know, I'm going to take the risk on things that I think are worth taking risks on. And 100K Bitcoin, I'm good. Let's see here. Ancient facts, old times. Hey, Sensei, I don't understand how $2 with all the positive news. Just don't get it. Can you explain? So, yeah, I can explain. You know, great question. The news that you see today, a lot of it has to do with Ripple itself. And news about Ripple itself don't affect XRP's price, right? Because you have this big retail market and institutional market that speculate on prices of assets. You're not at a point of utility yet, right? You're not at a point where crypto is used, you know, for every financial transaction. But we're getting to that point where tokenization of financial markets is about to happen, right? And it starts here in the US in 26. Now it's already started in places like the EU and in Japan and the UK. Like, you know, there have been some better movement in some places, is now moving to adopt the technology. And so you could get a lot of incredible news announcements and you're paying attention, but the rest of the world still isn't. And when you don't yet have regulation, the biggest financial markets yet, and you know, you're starting to be able to invest 401ks, but you haven't really seen that buying. And you've seen financial advisors maybe tell their clients they should have 1%, maybe 2%. You're going to get to a point where financial advisors are going to be saying, hey, crypto needs to be 10%, 20% of your portfolio, right? But we're not there yet. And so with regulation, with adoption, with regulators now getting on board, you're going to start to see that move. When will that move? I wish I could tell you, man. If I knew when it would move, I would probably, if I had like the exact time and date, I would just go borrow as much money from as many people as I could. Like I would go borrow money from like loan sharks, right? Because then you would know what would happen. But that's the part about life. Like nobody specifically knows, right? Because if you're telling me that somebody has the knowledge of when this is all going to pop off, I don't know if there's one specific person that has that knowledge. Maybe somebody that works for the government or a big financial institution, but still, you got to understand this is a global movement now, and not everybody is on the same timeline. It's not like you can pick up a phone and you can talk to the heads of 10,000 banks at the same time, or you can talk with the heads of every regulator at the same time, right? You'd have to go to like the G20, UN, like that's where you could have this. But then are all these people going to be involved in some conspiracy to launch something on a certain day? I don't know. I think it starts and, you just start having things happen. Paul, you're funny, man. Bitcoin is the granddaddy of meme coins, future rug pulls. I mean, listen, people want to speculate on Bitcoin. That's great. Like, I'm just not interested at this point, People that have made money on Bitcoin are putting a lot of money into, like, think about like the senators who are pushing for Bitcoin now as their strategic asset for the US. Those people have a lot of money interest in Bitcoin. Their families invested in it. They're personally invested in it. And they're getting money from lobbyists to push it. Here in the US or wherever country that you're from, you would think that the government would want to support technology, like the companies and the technology in that country. Like we should be buying XRP and XLM and Chainlink and Solana, but we're not. We're focused on Bitcoin. And I think that's a strategic mistake, right? It's such a strategic mistake. And it's all pushed by greed. It's just billionaires, early Bitcoin billionaires or people that are buying billions of Bitcoin now, they want more billions. And it's pushed by greed rather than investing in the companies and the technology that are actually going to move your country forward. I think we're kind of, missing the forest for the trees here. Scott, what's up? Good to see you, Scott. Yeah, I'm still talking, man. Hour and 57 minutes. We usually go about 2 hours. I try to answer as many questions as I can in 2 hours. I start to kind of fade after 2 hours. So, we'll have to see how much longer we can go here. Hey, Sensei, do you believe XRP will totally address employee payroll, or will ZBIC fully address this? I don't, ZBIC's not my specialty. I'm not invested in it. I don't know much about it. I think like the people who are bullish on ZBIC are like the Zach Rectors of the world. And there's a few other channels. Bullzilla, I think, talks about ZBIC a lot. Just not something that I could speak to you, from an intelligent point of view. So I'd imagine that the planet is a very big place, and different institutions and companies are going to want to use different blockchains that they feel best fit their needs. And if ZBIC fits those needs, it'll be successful. But I can't tell you one way or another if it's going to be. Any suggestions on how to learn how to stake or borrow against your XRP? Okay. No, I don't specifically know of where. I do know that there are a lot of places that you can borrow against your XRP, but you need to read the fine print. In case something happens, you could be liquidated. You could lose all of your stuff. There is a company that I have started talking to that I personally think that it could be a big deal. I'll show you the company. Here, if you're looking for This company actually does loans on crypto and NFTs, and they're not the company that's actually giving you the loan. This is other people in the crypto space that are on both ends, right? So if you want to lend money or if you want to borrow money, this is kind of where you could get some information. And I think there's going to be more companies like this in the future. And I kind of like what this company is doing. And I've met the owner, the founder of this company, and he's a really nice guy, and he's really smart. He comes from New York and traditional finance, and I think he's building something special here. There's going to be a lot of places that you're going to be able to borrow and lend, but that is a company that I think is on the up and coming. They're actually going to launch next year in early 26. I think it's like February. And I think they're like starting valuation, or their the public sale, I think, will be at like 25 million market cap. But like that's the type of thing that could be a multi-billion-dollar idea, but it takes time to build into that. And so it's funny, the CEO of that company reached out and wanted to work with us. And, I got a chance to meet him, and he said that, he'd been watching the channel for some time, for like a year and a half before he reached out. And it just shows you that there's all kinds of incredible people out there from all different walks of life. And some of them, end up crossing paths with you, and maybe not intentionally, but it happens. And I was walking Luna the other day, and I was kind of distracted because this lady was walking by with her dog, and usually people stop and they stare at Luna and they're like, "What kind of dog is that?" Because people don't usually see that type of specific dog. And so I was a little distracted, but I saw this guy pass on a bike, and then I heard like him kind of come to a really quick stop on the bike, and then all of a sudden this person said, "Hey, Crypto Sensei," right? And I was like, "Whoa," and the person was driving by on the bike and recognized me. And it's just weird how that happens, but I think as more and more people see the channel, I think I've been recognized now 4 places. It was like Target, the street, Whole Foods, and AT&T. I've been recognized 4 places now. Maybe it's at 5. Anyways, but I'm just trying to say that, there's people from all over the world and all kinds of different walks of life. And it's a really unique community of people. All right, I'll leave it there. Dangerous Dave checking in from Australia. What's up, Dave? And he's got the 589. I love that. Yeah, what are you going to do, man? So all these politicians have their own agendas, and I don't know, I don't agree with a lot of what Elizabeth Warren says about the crypto market, and I think eventually somebody's going to challenge her for her seat, but she does have a lot of support outside of the crypto market. That's the hard part. Flare is going to be a big hit. Flare is going to be a big hit. There's a lot of really smart people working at Flare, and they're gonna do some pretty good things. James Gerald, hey Sensei, do you know what return on the Uphold debit card after the first 90 days? I don't know what it is after the first 90 days. I can ask. Hold on. All right. I don't know if they're going to get back to me as I'm streaming with you, but James, I will check the Telegram message. If their team gets back to me on that, I will give you the answer. All right. If not, maybe we can just research it. Hold on. Let's see if we can find an answer to your question, James. The Uphold Elite card after the first 90 days. How much do you get back? Let's see if we can find out for you, James. God, you got to love AI. Can learn so much more, so much more quickly. After the first 90 days, looks like drops from the promotional 6% to 3% on eligible purchases. So at least it doesn't go to 1%, but it goes from 6 to 3, it sounds like. But I will try to confirm that with you, with their team, okay? Luna is my daughter's cat's name. Well, that is a great name. Sounds like your daughter really did a good job naming that cat. Love that. Yes, so if you guys want to like understand this a little bit more, right? It used to take me a lot longer to put together content. But since I've made now almost 1900 videos in 3 years, I kind of know where things are now. And I know what I need to research, and I know what needs to be included when I see certain clips. So what additional information that I think the audience would be most interested in. And so I wake up, let's just say I wake up at 5:30 or 6. Usually it takes me a while to kind of put myself together, do the hair, right? Eat some breakfast, make sure Luna's fed, and then I get on my laptop. And then usually I'm building for the first maybe hour and a half, because I have to go through information and different feeds and pull everything that I can that makes the most sense for the day. And I'll go record 2 videos. And so I'll build 2, record 2, and then I'll be back on my laptop for another 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I'll build 2 more. I'll go record 2. And then the afternoons usually have meetings. Maybe there's more content I need to make. Maybe there's partnerships and things like that I need to work on. And then usually it gets to like 4 o'clock. I walk Luna. Then I usually pick up my wife from work. We have dinner. I'll probably be on my computer for a little while longer after that. And then I'll go lay down, rest for like 2 hours, go to sleep, wake up and do the whole thing over again. 7 days a week. Sometimes I try to take off on Sundays, but I usually have to make a few videos on Sunday. So it's a lot. It's a lot, but I'm committed to it. And, we're in this together, and I think it's a lot of fun. Like it doesn't feel like work. It feels like I'm doing something that I love to do, and people are getting value from it. And that's special to me. And like, when something big happens, I want to make sure people know all the facts, and they know what's important, and they know that the moment that they're in, because we really are on a limited schedule here, right? And there's only so much time left to make some moves. And whether things go crazy in a month, a week, 6 months, a year, 3 years, I don't know. But I'm committed to seeing this through. I'm committed to seeing this through. You won't need me once we get to a certain point. But it's going to be a lot of fun getting there. Whoa, we used to be making videos after price appreciation. So I think different kind of videos. I think at that point people would probably invite me, all over the world. And I could make videos on what those people are doing with their lives after price appreciation. Or I could just not make videos. I don't know. If people miss me, I'm sure I'll figure out something to do. I don't want to just do nothing. Like, I don't want to go sit on the couch and play video games all day. Like I need to do something with my time, and I've liked this. This has been a lot of fun educating people on this. And maybe there's something else that I connect with. I don't know. That's the crazy thing about life. You don't know where it's going to take you. I didn't know I'd be here doing this a few years ago, but I like it. I do like it. Bake some cookies and read a good book. There's that too. Yeah, I'd like that. A social club. You know what I think I'd really like to do? Although it'd be brutal on my body, like I'd like to go play in some big poker tournaments, but I don't know if I could sit in the chair for 10 hours or 12 hours in a day. Like it would be really brutal on me. But I think that would be a lot of fun. You know, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Travel and play poker. That sounds like a pretty cool life. That sounds like a good life. Oh, thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, 6 months traveling anywhere, and then 6 months hanging out with Luna in Hawaii. That sounds like a good life to me. The acquisition of Rail is done. Rail represents 10% of global business-to-business stablecoin payments, stablecoin infrastructure that Ripple needed. I don't think that's crazy, Brandon. Swapping out some Bitcoin for XRP. I was talking to my stepfather, my wife's dad, and he's been supporting my channel for since day one. And he's been learning English. He's from Brazil, so he speaks Portuguese. And he's just kind of coming into the realization of how important XRP is. And he asked me the other day, he's like, should I sell my Bitcoin for XRP? And I kind of laid out what could be the benefits and what could be the downside. And so I don't know what he decided to do, but I'd imagine he probably sold the Bitcoin for XRP as well. I think you're just going to be able, like, if you look 5 years from now to 5 years from now, Bitcoin could be at $1 million, but XRP could be at a few thousand. What do you think is going to give you more money? Right? That, if you only have, let's say, $10,000 to invest, what are you going to own? 0.1, 10% of one Bitcoin? That would mean that Bitcoin would be worth what, 100 grand? Bitcoin's at $1 million. You own 10% of Bitcoin, it'd be worth 100 grand. If you put $10,000 into XRP today, you would have 5,000 XRP. Okay. If XRP reached $100,000, you would have 5 million instead of 100 grand. If XRP reached 5,000, you'd have 25 million. If XRP reaches 10,000, you'd have $50 million. It's not that hard. It's not a hard decision for me. Like, I understand the risk and I understand the upside. I understand that there's only so much money that can go into Bitcoin, but I understand there's an infinite amount of money that can be tokenized and moved on the ledger. It's simple in my head now. Might have not have been so simple years ago. Take my mom surfing. My mom is not she's not a water person. I think my mom's coming to visit just to spend time with me. I haven't seen her too much this year. And she's not the one, she's not one to sit on the beach. Yeah. Man, I can tell you, I've been around the block here in the crypto space for years now. And I don't know if there's a company that has the raw talent that Ripple has. Not just the raw talent, but who's also been in the room for the most important meetings about the new system. There's just not a bigger and better company, in my opinion. Don't underestimate those people. That is something that you don't want to do in life, because they have an agenda. They have goals and they have enough money to achieve those goals. Now they have regulation. Now they have a bank charter. Now they have this. Now they have that. People keep saying XRP is never going to go anywhere. Okay, we'll see. I'm looking forward to you eating those words, right? If you think crypto is going to be massively adopted and XRP is somehow going to be left behind, I got another thing to say to you, but I will remind you once things pop off, because I think that's important, right? To go back and look at some of the things that maybe you've said about the community or about XRP specifically or about Ripple. And we'll be there to we're going to have a lot of free time, not having to show up to work, just kind of doing whatever you need to do. Maybe the first thing that you do in the morning is your coffee because you got nothing else to do because, all you got is money and time now. We'll go back and we'll look at some of the things maybe that you said negatively about this. I'm really looking forward to spending time doing that. Even $10, even $10, not interested. Not interested. If it can go to $10, it can go to 100. If it can go to 100, it can go to 1,000. If it can go to 1,000, it can go to 10,000, and so on and so on. Right? $10 doesn't interest me. Yes, that is going to be a speed bump along the way. Right? But at $10, I'm good. I'm still going to hold. Utility, you know what? I don't currently. Last year there was to buy Ripple shares was through one of those companies that was kind of, and I didn't have an account and I didn't want to create an account. And I had a friend at the time that had an account. I sent that friend some money to buy some shares. And I don't know what I was thinking. But some things started to happen with that friend, and I got a little scared to leave those shares in that friend's name. So I said, cash out. I'll pay the fees. Send it back to me. And it took a while. It seemed a little weird. But I ended up selling those shares. And Ripple shares, XRP, I think they're both going to have big value, but I kind of missed some of the train on that. Yeah, link to. Yeah. And utility, I mean, more power to you, man. You are ahead of the game. I think Ripple honestly will be a $1 trillion company, multi-trillion. That is, I've believed that from years ago. I think these people are wicked smart, and they're ahead of the game. They're writing the rules of the game. You have all of these people in the crypto market playing, checkers or whatever the game is. They're playing something that's we can't even comprehend, right? Like, they are actively on the committees of all of these institutions setting the rules. They're in the most important meetings. So, I'll bet on the smartest people in the crypto space that I know. And that's the people at Ripple. Marlon Wells, new member. Appreciate you, Marlon. Sorry, I had a little short circuit there. This is legal conduit that will move to escrow to the bank's balance sheets before the real pump begins. I'd imagine there's going to be a lot of people who want some of that escrow. So, Andre, I don't want to say that there's not a possibility that this could happen, because I think if we go back and we look at the history of mankind, there's a lot of things that people thought were never possible, and then those things happened. But I do want to say that I think crypto's reached a point now where it's too big to put back in the box. And the institutions need these public networks for the liquidity. And you're always going to have, if you look at all of the centralized exchanges around the world, you think one specific government could say, you're going to close down your sales of XRP in your country. You're probably going to say, go blow smoke. You're not going to tell me what to do. You're not my president. You're not my representative, whatever. Right? So you'd have to get all of those people in those institutions to agree to the same thing. Then you would need to get all of the decentralized exchanges, which really don't have somebody that you could call, pick up a phone and say, hey, block this asset, because it's decentralized. So is there a possibility in a world, in a timeline where they do block XRP? I guess. But I think it's a very, very small, minuscule chance of that happening. I think less than like 1%, 0.5%. You know, it's like, why do XRP? Why not Ethereum? Ethereum's bigger right now. Why not Bitcoin? You know, especially now that it's so highly regulated, RLUSD and XRP soon. Why would they? They're going to need that technology. I mean, maybe they start offering you, maybe they start buying it at market, and then they do what they want with it. At some point, people will sell it. At some point, you're not going to be able to pry that XRP out of that person's hands for any amount of money. What are you going to do? Force people that you don't even know that own XRP to sell their XRP? It's not a situation that I am personally worried about. It is something that I've thought about. It's something that people are curious to talk about, but it's not something that I lose sleep over. Hey, Luis, what's up, dude? Bill says they'll never get my XRP. And I think a lot of people say the same, Bill. Just talking about cold wallets. Question: how can the price keep going up after all the XRP is bought off exchanges? So you need to understand supply and, available supply, circulating supply versus what's available on exchanges, inflows, market cap multipliers. I mean, there's a lot of things that you probably need to better understand. But as the supply thins, the available supply that's available on open exchanges, as that goes down, the inflows and outflows, meaning money going in as well as money coming out, are multiplied. So you have a market cap of $1 million. You bring in $1 to that asset. Instead of changing $1 on the market cap side, it could change $100 or $200. The multiplier gets bigger as the available supply gets thinner, right? And so if the available supply of XRP goes down to like 500 million or 100 million, the multiplier would be insane. And so you get the ETF demand, which would be having to buy from open exchanges, and the price would be astronomical. Astronomical. But spend some time learning about market multipliers and supply and demand, and you'll start to uncover a picture that, it'll start to make more sense. If you go to my channel and look at my videos, and there's a little search bar here, let me show you here real quick, just to give you some additional context. So we're here on YouTube. As you can see, NFL and cards. That's some of the stuff I like to enjoy. Movie previews. All right. And then if you see this little search bar here, market cap multiplier, search that, and you'll have some videos here on market cap multipliers that goes through some of this stuff. Like here's one from 8 months ago, 49,000 views, 33,000 views. Spend some time understanding that, and I think you'll get a better understanding of what's the possibility here. R6, what's up, Sensei? Not sure. This was already asked. I just got out of work, but do you see the Ripple and Solana partnership being a massive deal? So I think it's part of the process that we're going through to interconnect all of these blockchains. And I think it's a big deal for XRP, and it's also a big deal for Solana, because Solana will get institutional level products and liquidity, which Solana really needs, because Solana really is kind of that meme coin mentality, network. The technology is really incredible, but the reason the technology is incredible is the reason why there's all of these kind of scam projects, and that kind of dilutes and clouds some of the things that are happening there personally. So Solana kind of gains that institutional level interest and having that value. And XRP then can use what is like perpetuals, futures, and a few other things that Solana does really well, and getting access to their smart contract functionality and all kinds of stuff. So, these are also very important to be interconnected with each other, so value can move seamlessly across blockchains. And I think this is all part of the evolution of making everything interconnected. Very important. I've done some videos on this, in the last few days, specifically about the partnership. If you want to go back and look at that, I kind of break it down. I just can't remember everything that I went through going through that. But it is substantial. I mean, like that's where I think XRP's price probably will end up sitting one day. I don't know if it's a year from now, 5 years from now, 20 years from now. I don't know, but that is the price that I think that it'll get to one day. Like that's what I believe in my heart and soul. And if we come up a little short, that's fine. If we come up half, that's fine. If we come up a quarter of that, that's still pretty fine. Even 10% is still really fine. So, I got them dice. Let's roll the dice. I'm ready. I'm committed. I am here with you. Whatever happens, we're going to go through this together. We'll know that we've put the time and energy, the love, the passion to understand all of this stuff. And I think this is going to be a hell of a ride. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world. Bill, thank you, Sensei. You're a gentleman and scholar. I really appreciate you. Love for all of us. Bill, thank you, man. I hope you have a great weekend. It's a pleasure, man. It's an absolute pleasure, Bill. James back. James says, James, I answered this, man. People ask a question, I answer the question, and then they ask the same question. James, we just talked about this. I looked it up for you. After the 90 days, I believe it goes to 3%. All right. Hopefully that helps you, James. And hopefully you're listening. Yeah, 3%. I just confirmed with the Uphold team, 3%. All right. Thoughts on ETF? BlackRock filed for it. What is, did they file for a new ETF? Not XRP though, right? I think I know about that. AK, what are we talking about, man? Luna, come on. I'm almost done. Oh man. Here, you want to see what happens? Here, I'll show you what happens, okay? So there comes a certain point where Luna, she sits there and she mean mugs me. She just sits there and she looks at me for like 20 minutes until I like get off streaming and then go take her outside. Oh yeah, you know what, guys? Listen, it's let me grab Luna. Let's say hi to Luna. Hold on, come here. Come on, Bubs. There we go. There she is. People were saying that you're just here. We okay? How we doing? Would you like to say anything to anybody? Wish everybody a good weekend, and we hope you're well, and we love you, and we appreciate the XRP community, right? Do you want to say anything to them? Oh, yes, I love you. All right, Luna and I are gonna go for a walk. Oh, you want to go for a walk? Yes, you want to go outside? Yes. Damn, you see the look? You saw the look, huh? All right, guys, listen, it is that time that Luna and I usually go for a walk, so I'm gonna go spend some time with her. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, your love, your passion, your energy. I just feed off of it. It is an honor to go be on this journey with you. Thank you for spending this time with me and learning. Thank you for everyone who left a donation today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everybody that's just spending the time to learn and to grow. Ariana, Christopher, OSOK, everybody who's here, man. Just thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys have a great weekend. I'll see you on Tuesday. Actually, I got a special stream on Monday. I'm going to bring Jack back. He was part of the Flare interview. He'll be here on Monday. That's going to be we're going to talk about all kinds of different things across the crypto space. Make sure that you check out that interview. I think you're going to learn a lot. Okay. I'll see you guys. Aloha. Peace.